Forward Wyoming is a 501c3 nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that is wholly dedicated to increasing voter turnout among young people and empowering us to become leaders in our communities so that we can create a better future for Wyoming.
All you need to vote here is just an address, so you guys are welcome to vote. We are trying to tell the story of why people are trying to work for a better state, and I don't know why you moved here. Is it school or work? School?
Yep.
Yeah.
My name is LeeAnn Grapes, and I'm the Executive Director of Forward Wyoming. I am a fifth generation Wyomingite, so I was born and raised in Wyoming. Growing up in Wyoming, there was this sense instilled in a lot of us that if you were to stay in Wyoming, that means that you failed at something else or that you didn't make it in another place. So going to the University of Wyoming, I studied international studies and Spanish, and I was ready to get out. So I went to DC for a summer internship with a Senate office. I ended up spending that entire summer working almost exclusively with people from Wyoming. This is not what I had expected at all, but my hours were filled with answering phone calls in the office, with giving tours to Wyoming families as they came to DC, and answering constituent mail. I realized that there are a lot more voices in Wyoming than I had ever heard before, and that those voices were very diverse and not always represented at that federal level. I felt like something needed to be done. Not all change is going to happen at the federal level, but it was going to need to happen at the grassroots level. So I shifted my plans. I, had to make a choice of whether I was going to continue on this path of international glory or come back to Wyoming. And I decided to come back to Wyoming. I found some people who were working on campaigns here in Laramie, and I dove right in. I had conversations with people from all walks of life, and really had an experience of hearing more of those stories of people from across the state. We hit Election Day 2014. We saw the lowest voter turnout in Wyoming since World War II. Only 33% of eligible voters voted in that election. Among young people, it was in the single digits. My idea that something needed to change at the grassroots level in Wyoming still held true and centered around voter turnout. So in the cold winter months of 2014, I decided to start Forward Wyoming as a means of empowering young people and helping them understand the power of their vote. I had not expected that this was going to be my path, but it was clear that there is a lot of power among the youngest generations in Wyoming that is not being harnessed. So I decided to try to bring people together around the idea of an empowered young generation of people who can make a difference in Wyoming.